audio not working? Working, I guess. Let me know if it works now, because I just unplugged my microphone and plugged it back in. So maybe you heard me when I unplugged the microphone. Is it still working? So you guys are saying it's not working? Sorry, I understand. It's working. Sorry, I'm just gonna post this in a couple different places, and then I'll join here. By the way, my internet has been having some issues, so I don't really know what's going on. But I thought, oh my gosh, is okay. I think what it must be is it must have just been a few trolls in the chat telling me it wasn't working, because as far as I can tell, it's completely working. But I thought it would be useful to jump on the stream and try to kill the rally. It seems like usually when I jump on stream, the rally stops and we end up watching the price, not continue to go up anymore. So if you think about it, if I might be doing you guys a favor, because by coming on stream, maybe the price will stop going up in the short term, maybe come back down, give you guys another opportunity. Um, I'm not trying to kill the rally. I'm just saying, like, every time I come on stream, it seems like the rally dies. But anyways, this was the chart. I just had it saved from yesterday. This was the chart we were looking at. And again, I don't trade these these ascending triangles, as they call it. But it was just interesting to note that we ended up breaking out through it after our fourth attempt. So here we are. We are at 16.4. And I mean, let it go, right? Let the rally go. So yeah, I mean, we'll probably try to answer some questions here. Probably we'll make sure the price stays below 16.5. We don't want it getting too crazy. We'll take a look at some of the other coins like Ethereum, see what it's doing. We have, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum against Bitcoin as well. Anything interesting? Or sorry, Ethereum against USD. Let me go ahead and put on. Let me go ahead and put on the regression bin here. By the way, I don't really know what's going on with my internet, but it is it's not good. So sorry if I do go out, my apologies. But I thought it was at least worth pulling everything up and seeing if we can get through anything before the stream goes out. So okay, let's start with Bitcoin. We're just going to do a check, make sure it doesn't go above 16.5. We can say that's the purpose of the stream, to keep Bitcoin down a little bit, let it cool off for a bit. Get everyone that would be purchasing Bitcoin onto the stream, away from purchasing Bitcoin for a while. So yeah, one of the things we've talked about again, and let me switch over back to the weekly view, because obviously this is a lot more pertinent. But it's kind of incredible to look at this move. Like, if you just take like a step back and look at how impressive this move has been, it really is quite impressive, how quickly it has moved up. And if you guys remember, I imagine many of you guys will remember this, but if we plot on our bull market support band here, remember when we came down to this area, I said that if we hold it, there's a good chance that the Bitcoin market, the sentiment can change on a dime. And you see that play out. And this is exactly what we had last market cycle. right? I mean, back then, I don't think it was as clear that the 20-week moving average was our support line, especially early in the market cycle. By the end of the market cycle, it seemed to be. Early in the market cycle, I don't think it was as clear. But now you can see you kind of live through that, right? If you weren't here back in 2016 and 2017, now you've lived through one of these, right? Where we rally past the 20-week, we go up, we have a scary 20% drop down to the 20-week where everyone says it's going back down. And you know what? We said, I mean, let's hold the 20-week and then we'll talk. And I honestly, I'm surprised that we only held the 20-week for about 6 weeks before moving back up. But again, as we said, every cycle is different. They're not going to play out exactly the same way. So you can see we held it for 6 weeks, and as we mentioned, that the market can market sentiment can change on a dime. So you go from people saying that we're going back to like 9,600 or 6K or whatever down here, and then the market sentiment can change so quickly, and now everyone's saying 20K, 30K, 40K. So you see how quickly things can change. But if we just take a look here, you can see how quickly this is moving up. And one of the things we can do is draw one of our trend line or our trend angles and take a measured move. I mean, look at the angle on this one. With this aspect ratio, it was 76 degrees. And if you look at the angle where we currently are, we're also moving up by 76 degrees. Now, I should warn you, before you go on your own TradingView chart and draw these angles, it will depend on the aspect ratio, right? As we've said, if you change the aspect ratio, the angles won't line up. So you have to figure out what aspect ratio you want to use and then draw the angles on that aspect ratio. But you can see with this aspect ratio, we're getting a 76 degree move here, a 76 degree move here. And I just want to caution people, because we're all bullish on Bitcoin for the most part, right? I don't imagine that you're watching this stream if you're not bullish on Bitcoin. This is why we're here, right? I mean, this is why we've been tuning into the streams and the daily videos, sometimes 2 or 3 videos a day, because I wanted to inform as many people as possible that this is a reaccumulation phase, a macro reaccumulation phase of Bitcoin, and we've had several of them. And when they come, you want to take advantage of them, because they don't last forever. You can see it better obviously on the BLX, but again, they don't last forever. But when they are here, you definitely want to take advantage of it. And there's a good chance we could come back down into it. So don't think that we have to exit it for the duration of the market cycle. You can see we've exited it twice. Maybe even 3 times already this cycle. We exited it here, we came back down briefly right here, and then went back above it, and then we went above it here as well. So you could argue that this is our 4th move above the regression band this market cycle. And it's very clear that while we could rally on up to the top, we could also rally a little bit more and then come back down and continue on our merry way. So let's just be a bit more pragmatic about it and not fall for the sensationalist moon boy BS that they're gonna that basically will say it's going up forever, and of course those will get the clicks for a long time, and then at some point it'll come crashing down. Again, I do think we're still fairly early on in the market cycle. I don't want to spook anyone. I think it is fairly early on. I think the major thing that is concerning, as we said, is just how quickly it's moving up, right? The pace at which we are moving up would cause me to think that just we will come back at some point. And one of the things, right, is it's a fool's errand to necessarily try to predict exactly when the top will be, at least the local top. Hopefully the global top will be near 6 figures, but we're not going to increase monotonically to 6 figures. We're going to go up, we're going to come back. We're going to go up, we're going to come back. It's more like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's just the way it is. So the thing that I just want people to be aware of, right, especially if you're new to the market, I know there's a lot of new eyes in the space, especially since March. Just be cautious here, because you've probably been here since March, and you've watched the market just continue to rally, right? I mean, this basic amazing, amazing move here. I just want to warn you that I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be next week. I don't know if it'll be next month. We will have a nice correction at some point, right? We will have a nice correction at some point, and it will probably scare the you know what out of you to some degree. Because if you've mainly been focused on traditional markets in the past, then you're not used to seeing many 20, 30, 40% drops. You're just not used to seeing it. But Bitcoin, even in a bull market, can give you that. You know, Bitcoin will oblige that. And it almost surely will happen, right? Even down to the 20-week. It's just a matter of when it will happen. And the nice thing about these moves is that they give you a nice buying opportunity. So when people are running for the hills, or I shouldn't say that, when people are getting freaked out by whenever the next 20% move or 30% move comes down to the 20-week, hopefully at least people watching this stream will realize, you know what, par for the course, right? Business as usual. Who cares? I'm not even gonna I'll worry too much about it. And that leads you to the next question, right? Is okay, well, profit taking. You know, do you take profits on the way up? And of course, that's up to you, right? It's up to your own risk tolerance, right? If you're here for the long haul and you just want to buy your Bitcoin quietly and wait for a couple more years and then sell it, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to swing trade some of these momentum shifts and try to take profits systematically, there's nothing wrong with that. Just figure out what's best for you and stick to it. And I think you shouldn't let people, other people necessarily tell you what is best for you, because what's best for you is obviously up to your own individual situation. Because I can assure you that even on a theoretical move of Bitcoin up to 100K, there will be a lot of sharp corrections, and as long as you're okay riding through that, then it's fine, right? Who cares? Like, you don't even get out of bed for a 10% downturn or a 15% downturn. Like you don't even roll over for that. But I'm pretty hands-on in the market, and I like to take advantage of bubbles, especially when I see bubbles forming, because kind of like my thinking, as I've said, is never let a good bubble go to waste. And we've applied this across markets, right? I mean, or at least within the asset class. We had it with ADA back in earlier in the summer, took profits there. Had it in Link earlier, took profits there. All the way up to 1850. Had it with Ethereum back in the summer, took some profits there, but not as much because the bubble didn't go up as high. And now we're looking at Bitcoin, but it feels different, right? This one is different. Bitcoin bubbles are fundamentally different, in my opinion, than altcoin bubbles, because when you're talking about altcoins, they can go through these mania phases that somewhat, they just, a lot of times they just don't make sense, right? And you have people buying altcoins just because they're listed on some exchange, or YouTubers just shilling these altcoins because someone paid them a lot of money in that altcoin to shill it. This is just noise, right? I mean, people are making money and losing money. Again, that's just noise. This one is different because, a single YouTuber, you can't shill Bitcoin to 100K, right? You can't shill it to a $2 trillion market cap. With low micro caps, you can potentially shill them up 10x if you get enough people talking about them. But with things like Bitcoin, I mean, it takes a real movement in the space to get the volume flowing that would need to take it from 10 to 20K, from 20 to 40, from 40 to 50, I mean, all the way up to 100K. It's not like someone can just come on the stream and say, Satoshi paid me a few Bitcoin to shill his coin. No, it just doesn't work like that, right? It's completely different. It feels completely different. It's what ultimately drags the space to newer heights and a paradigm shift in cryptocurrency and what it means to hold a single Bitcoin. Because if you go back and look at the history of Bitcoin, each paradigm shift it's a completely new thing, right? So let's call this one the first paradigm. And you could call this the first low. You could also call it the first high, because this is where we started out at. Literally, it was like 5 cents. So what does that get you? Like a piece of gum or something. Then you get up to this first major blow off top, and what it meant to hold a Bitcoin. It's like a fancy dinner, and not even that fancy of a dinner. I mean, it's like 30 bucks or so, so a decent dinner. This is what one Bitcoin meant back here in 2011. And then you get to 2013, and you're saying, oh wow, it's $1,000. That's like I don't know, like a fairly expensive domestic flight. I mean, maybe an international flight if you can get a pretty cheap one, but probably not flying with much legroom in that situation. But $1,000, right? And so it's not like a ton of money. Maybe it's like a new laptop, but that's what one Bitcoin represented. So you go from like a stick of gum to a nice dinner to maybe like a nice laptop or something. And then here, back in 2017, the paradigm shift of Bitcoin, it changed again. And what it was, okay, well now it's $20,000. Well, this is like a new car. I mean, it's not like a crappy car necessarily. A $20,000 car can be a pretty nice car, or at least, part of a pretty nice car. But again, you see that fundamental shift in what does it mean to own one Bitcoin. And then so the next shift is theoretically going to take us to 100K, and wherever it is out here in this nebulous chart, it will change what it means to hold one Bitcoin. And so we would have gone from like a stick of gum from when it launched to a nice dinner to maybe like a new laptop to then like a new car. And then when you're getting up into six figures, you're talking about a house. I mean, $100,000 house. Yeah, there's not that many $100,000 houses. I mean, I guess there are, but but it gets you on that order of magnitude, right? It gets you on that order of magnitude, like a $200,000 house, whatever it might be. It gets you on that level, that playing field level, and so that's basically what I mean when I'm talking about like what is the next paradigm shift in owning a Bitcoin. Like, what does it mean? And I think that's what it means. It will no longer be a pack of gum or a stick of gum. It will no longer be a dinner. It will no longer be a fancy laptop. No longer be a car. It'll be, okay, this is like a house payment. Like, this is like a mortgage. Or maybe if you're buying a more expensive house, maybe it's like a down payment on a house. So again, these paradigm shifts in the market will, I think, continue to happen. And so that's where we are right now. So to some degree, we are still playing in the sandbox, whether you can believe it or not. Even Bitcoin at 16.3 is playing in the sandbox on the macro scale. I know a lot of us like playing in the sandbox, but this is ultimately what it is. And at the end of the day, though, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, is when we're playing in the sandbox, right? Is it worth taking profits? And for me, the answer, of course, is yes, depending on what the risk level is, right? Depending on how inflated the bubble is. But for you, it could mean something completely different if you just really don't even care about Bitcoin, about selling it until it's several times higher. But again, I mean, you look at 2019, and a lot of us, a lot of people were just thinking it was going to keep going up. But it didn't, right? And it came back down, and then you look back on it and say, oh, I wish I had sold some. The same thing could theoretically happen here, right? I mean, I don't think we're going to revisit 3,800 by any means. But, I mean, 12, 13K, 14K, it's always on the cards, right? It's always on the cards, namely because that's where we are at the 20-week. The 20-week moving average is now at 11,504. And again, this is our bull market support line. So this is the number you should keep in the back of your head. But remember, 11,504, that's $5,000 lower than where Bitcoin currently is. So it would have a ways to fall before it would get there. So if we dropped there instantaneously, it would be a 30% drop. We had some of these in the last market cycle, so don't think it's impossible, right? Don't fall for the it has to go up forever mentality, because we had several of these mentalities, these people in the last market cycle, and we still had 30 to 40% drops that were somewhat scary. So yes, it's probably more likely that it goes up based on just the momentum in the market, but it doesn't mean it's going to go up forever. And we'll see where it tops out. And again, trying to predict the top, as we've always said, is a fool's errand. No one can do it consistently and accurately. And whether we come back here, or we go up to 18K and come back, or we go up to 20K and come back, right, no one's going to be able to tell you exactly where that local top is. So this is where we are with Bitcoin. You can see the live stream is doing its job of keeping Bitcoin below 16.5, which is what I said. I said every time I come on a live stream, it basically kills the price, because I always want to talk about, oh, a great price movement, and then the price just stops moving. Sorry, I'm just checking the chat. So then where do we look to next? Well, what's Ethereum doing, right? I mean, and we published a video on this earlier today. It said, you know what? It's cool to see Ethereum going up. It's cool to see it at 463. At the end of the day, who really cares? It's not really that impressive at this point, considering what Bitcoin's doing. Because I mean, you can see the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio has bled fairly significantly over. I mean, it's probably at 30% now, if I had to guess. I haven't measured it. I mean, from the top down to where it currently is, yeah, it's 30%. And from the bottom, it went down all the way to 34% drop from this past summer. So yes, it's nice that Ethereum is doing well, but there's other things in life that are nice too. What we want is we want to see its valuation go up against Bitcoin, and until Bitcoin cools off, it's probably just not going to happen. As much as we want it to happen, it's probably just not going to happen, and we need to see Bitcoin print some weekly candles going sideways. Note, I think, the data. By the way, if we could get some likes on the video, we're only at 104 with 730 people watching. And also, if you are new here and you guys like the content, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you get notified of future videos. But yeah, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. So what we want to see, right, is we want to see Bitcoin go sideways. Now, how often does Bitcoin just go sideways after a major pump? Well, I mean, it did it over here, right? It did it here, and then it moved sideways. And so you can't necessarily say that it has to crash. It doesn't have to do anything. It's possible that it just goes sideways. Because one common question, of course, is, it looks like we're doing our job here, killing the rally like usual. But it can theoretically go sideways. We've seen this before. If we were to take a measured move from the bottom and go up, that was a 150% move, and then it went sideways for 2 months. And then if we take it from, say, here and go up, it's 67% higher than this most recent local bottom. So the point is yes, it will probably correct at some point. It will probably correct. I mean, at some point it will. We know this. This is a fact. At some point, Bitcoin will have a strong correction. The question, though, is how quick will it be? Because one option, and I've seen this play out throughout a lot of the market cycles, one option is it slowly goes down. And if it does something like that, then actually, in the short term, what it could mean is that people are taking profits from Bitcoin into other coins. So I don't know if you guys, how many of you guys remember, there's been several days over the last few years where this has happened, where you'll wake up and you'll see Bitcoin down a couple percent, a few percent, but a lot of altcoins are up. And that's, historically speaking, it's because people are taking those profits out of Bitcoin and speculate on other cryptocurrencies. So I mean, I'm curious in the chat. I mean, do you guys remember these days? Because they do happen quite frequently, where you'll see Bitcoin rally, and then you'll wake up one morning and it will be down, but the rest of the market will be up. And so this actually has happened several times. So if it slowly bleeds, then it could present an opportunity for Ethereum to take charge. Okay, if it slowly bleeds. However, as we've said, if the bleed is not slow and it's quick, then rest assured that almost, very likely Ethereum will bleed and Ethereum Bitcoin will bleed. So not only will Ethereum bleed against USD, it will probably also continue to bleed against Bitcoin. So it's kind of like kicking you while you're down. It's like you've already taken enough of the punishment, right? 30% down, and then if Bitcoin plummets, this would likely continue to go down in the short term. So we'll see what plays out, and I mean we'll see if Bitcoin can hold whatever level it's heading to, or if it can slowly go down. But again, a very quick move down would not be good. And if you guys remember, this move here was the major move where coins like Ethereum just simply could not keep up with Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin was going up, if you go back and look at that time in 2019, the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio was bleeding. And it was because it basically just went up. Like it didn't really give other coins that much of an opportunity to start rallying themselves. I mean, you can see it rallied here, it pumped up, it slowly increased for a few weeks, it pumped, it slowly increased for a few weeks, it pumped. It never gave altcoins or Ethereum a true chance to go on their own rally. But this did, right? This move did. It gave other coins their time in the sun. This move up here gave a lot of coins some time as well. But when you're basically just going up with very little breathing room, then it does not give other coins that opportunity, and that's exactly what we're doing now, right? We're just going up. We're not taking a breather week over week. The price is increasing. By the way, if we were to continue at this pace, let me switch this over just so you guys get an idea. This is a linear scale. We don't often look at linear scales on the channel just because it makes it hard to see older prices, but this is a linear scale, and this is obviously more intuitive for a lot of people to read because reading logarithmic scales is not as common. But if you look at the linear scale, I mean, look how powerful this move has been, right? I mean, look at this, and then like compare it to over here. There's some similarities here, and there's some similarities here as well. This is unsustainable. It is unsustainable. We could go to 20K, we could go to 25K, but it will come back down at some point, like we've done in the past, and we will test a value, lower, much lower than wherever the local peak is. But you can see, just by comparing it, you can see how insane this move is. Let's actually take a measurement here. Let's take some bars from the last test of the 20-week here all the way to the top of this market cycle, okay? And then we're going to overlay it here, okay? I mean, you can see how similar they are and how explosive it has been. If we were to continue that move from the 20-week, I mean, if that move were on the same level as the one from 2017, it might take us to $25,000. I don't think we're going to go there in the short term. I'm just telling you if it were to continue. And if you were to take a move from, say, this test of the 20-week up to the top, and then overlay that where we currently are, you can also see a lot of similarities between these types of explosive moves. So again, I would say just be cautious because we all want to see Bitcoin go to 100K, right? I think everyone here wants to see that happen, and I think we're going to get there one day at a time. I think we're going to get there, and we just have to be patient, and we'll follow it through. We'll follow it through each phase of the market cycle. We'll follow it through each test of the 20-week. There could come a time where we don't hold the 20-week, and we'll follow it through that, and that presents its own theoretical opportunities. But for now, this is where we are, and this is what we're dealing with. So living through these phases gives you a better appreciation as well for whenever we are back in the regression band, because you recognize that it's only a matter of time, most likely, before we pop back out of it, right? It's only a matter of time, and that's why when we're in this region, it's just such a great opportunity, and it always has been, right? It's just such a great opportunity in this region. Let me delete some of these circles in these regions right here, right? Such a great opportunity to historically, anyways, to get into the market. And we'll continue to identify these opportunities whenever they come. So yeah, and it looks like the stream is still doing its job of keeping pushing the price of Bitcoin back down. A lot of times naturally, right? We've talked about lengthening cycles, we've talked about 4-year cycles, and obviously you guys know I'm more of a proponent of lengthening cycles, and I'm sure that will trigger some of you, and that's fine. I mean, it's okay to be passionate about what you believe in, but I've kind of kidded that I can make sure that lengthening cycles are true. I just come on and do a live stream anytime the price of Bitcoin starts to rally, and we'll make it be lengthening cycles one live stream at a time, because I swear every time I come on, the price just kind of stops and starts going backwards. So lengthening cycles one live stream at a time. And so, again, with Ethereum, as we showed, we did a video earlier today on this, and one of the things we said was, I'm just looking at the comments. One of the things we said, right, is we're better than that in terms of thinking that Ethereum, the only way to value Ethereum is in USD. What I have found, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, what I have personally found, the longer someone is in crypto, the more likely they are to value altcoins or other cryptocurrencies by their Bitcoin valuation, or if it's an altcoin, by its Bitcoin valuation and its Ethereum valuation. So I'm curious, if you're in the chat, like, do you guys value it only by USD or by fiat or by whatever stablecoin, or do you also like valuing it in terms of its Bitcoin valuation, and if it's, say, like an altcoin, in terms of its Ethereum evaluation? So I think it's important, and generally speaking, I think the longer you've been in the market, the more value you find in that. Looks like a lot of people are saying both. Some people are saying just USD, and that's why that's why I say it's important. It's important to think of it in terms of something besides just USD, because if you're just thinking in terms of USD, then, and you hold, say, 20 coins, and those 20 coins couldn't even keep up with Bitcoin, then why not just hold Bitcoin? Or if you're holding 20 coins and they can't keep up with Ethereum, then why not just hold Ethereum? So I redrew these lines, by the way. If you guys watched the video earlier today, I used to have other trend lines for this move here. I drew them like 8 or 9 months ago. I said it's probably time to update them, since it's been about 8 or 9 months. And we'll see. We'll see how accurate they are. I have no idea. I do think we're going to spend a decent amount of time in this range here. Maybe down to around 0.027, 0.028, up to 0.042, 0.043, somewhere in that range. We're probably going to spend a decent amount of time. And again, it looks like we're being set up so far for that nice Ethereum Bitcoin move. And I know I basically talk about this every day, but if it does play out, then we'll probably appreciate it. All the streams on it. If it doesn't play out, then oh well. I mean, again, there's no free lunch. We can't guarantee anything here. This is not financial advice, but just recognizing that we are kind of coming back down to the bottom of this channel here. We've always had Ethereum pumps against Bitcoin in the first quarter of the year. Every single year, there's been at least like a 50 to 60% pump of Ethereum against Bitcoin, as bought in December and then sold at some point in the first quarter. That's just, historically speaking, that's what's happened. We'll see if it happens again. I don't know if it's going to happen again, but we'll see if it happens again. Just a reminder, if you guys are enjoying the content, to subscribe. I was trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Honestly, I think I'm going to get there by the end of November. We'll see. So if you guys wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel, help me get to 50,000 subscribers at least by the end of the year. YouTuber001 says, this clown thinks there's pumps in December. He's dumb. If you're talking about Ethereum, we actually said the first quarter. We did not say December. But with that said, there's no reason to be such a troll on a stream. So I will go ahead and remove you from the chat. So goodbye. Yeah, he's gone. Someone says, if someone screenshots Bitcoin price at 16,420 and 69 cents, I'll liquidate and file Dogecoin. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get that. All right, and let's take a quick peek at Link. Yeah, so I mean, Link it's below the 20-week SMA as measured against Bitcoin. You can see it's come back down. It's done it a few times in the past. We are pretty significantly down right now. So as measured from the 20-week, which is the red line, it is down 20%. So pretty far down. But again, Link has never experienced a Bitcoin bull run. It just hasn't. So we are somewhat in uncharted territory. It has not experienced a Bitcoin bull run. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Link Ether. It's still, it basically so far it hasn't really dropped that far below this quote unquote support band. It is slightly below it now. If you zoom in, we are slightly below it, but we've also been below it in the past. So not that important anyways. So yeah. Well, I mean, I've kind of rambled on a little bit here, and the stream has done its job so far of kind of kicking Bitcoin back down. So as a reminder, subscribe to the channel. I'll start to get into questions here in a minute. Let me just say subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Remember, we do also have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. So if you guys want to check that out, you can.